Hi, Philippe. So good to see you. I would love if you could please introduce yourself and let us know what you do.
I'm Philippe. I'm a creative lead currently, in a position at a company called COVID as their marketing design manager.
Perfect. And what was happening for you in your job search when we first met just a few short months ago?
Yeah, I mean, I started doing my job search and I reached out to you about a month after I started because very quickly I realized I didn't know what I was doing. The whole LinkedIn platform, the job searching in this day and age is very, very different from the last time I was at it, which was over 15 years ago. And yeah, instead of wasting time and trying to do it on my own and figuring things out, I just figured I had been following you for a while. And I figured like I'll just go ahead and engage and see like if there's an opportunity there for me to be able to use your services.
Right. And kind of shorten the amount of time, right? And I
Yeah.
think this is interesting because you're someone who is a very tech savvy, right? And very well versed in AI, right? And we see a
Yeah.
lot of people now leverage AI for their job search, right? Thinking
Yeah.
that, hey, it's going to help me with my resume, my LinkedIn profile. I would just love to hear your perspective on that because you are an expert
Yeah,
in this
there's
area.
there's a danger to like yes, absolutely AI can help you to kind of like organize yourself and to help you customize, and if you know how to use it in depth, you're able to get very close to where you go. But the average person isn't. And the big risk there is that you're going to sound very same with everybody else that uses AI for their resume and their applications. And something even going in, I've heard like, recruiters saying that they get the same exact resume, and with very slight variations, and they know right away it's written with AI. So this is helpful to a certain degree, but like you can't lean in to it too much. And then if you're asking it for strategies for job searching, it will just give you the most obvious path that everybody has access to. So there's you're not really tapping into like expertise of someone of your, that like you that works in the industry and that has had success with many people. You're basically just getting the generic approach everybody's going to take, and you're not standing out from the crowd.
Yep, exactly. That's what I see as well. So, what started to happen then for you once we started working together?
I mean, literally the day I updated my profile, like I started getting like more profile views. The few weeks after I did my resume update and my LinkedIn profile update, like my profile views doubled. I started getting people reaching out to me for unlisted jobs. So like the hidden job market started reaching out. I got through and that before I did the update with you, I would apply to 50 places and maybe get two responses and see like two like interactions. Whereas after working with you, like I would say like 70% of the applications I did were viewed by the recruiter. So that was already like I could see that they viewed download my thing, viewed my profile. Like I could see that there was activity on their end. And I definitely like it probably doubled or tripled the amount of interviews that I got.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
And like, what do you attribute? Like, what do you think made the biggest difference? Was it one thing, or it's just like when you put it all together, like the positioning and all of
Yeah,
that?
I mean the first part of like optimizing and for LinkedIn and all that was definitely very important and helped me represent myself properly because I was misrepresenting myself. I think you noticed that the first time you looked at my resume, you said, "Yeah, you're not selling yourself the way you should." That was one part, but there's also an important part which was me figuring out exactly what I wanted. When you start looking at trying to define going through the process of working on the updating your resume, like there's some core questions you need to ask yourself and you need to really look for what you want. The biggest benefit I would say is not necessarily finding a job quickly, it's finding the right job for you, quickly. It happened quickly, it just happened to happen quickly, but it was getting the right fit for you, right? Now, of where you are in your career, what you want out of life, and getting the right opportunity and being able to align and to also like leveraging your training and all your content to be really effective at going through the interview process, getting that confidence, knowing how to tell your story, how to sell yourself, which is not something that most of us are used to doing, right?
Yeah, so true, right? It's very different when it comes down to, yeah, definitely selling yourself through every step of the process. So, what surprised you the most about the training, the work that we did together?
I would say how much it transformed me from a personal point of view of knowing how to properly talk to people about what I can do, how I can solve problems, and being able to know how to engage. Being an introvert, networking was like it was an ugly word for me. So kind of like getting comfortable with this and that was a big part. And also like just understanding like, and making peace with, my true value, what I have to give, right? As far as and what I'm worth. That's something that when you work in environments, sometimes if you're in environments that don't either use your full potential or appreciate you the way that for everything you can do, you tend to underestimate and doubt your skill sets and what you can do. And that helped me gain back that confidence to say, no, I can do all these things. I am an expert at these things, and I do bring value on these points, right? That's been the biggest thing. And that led
Nice.
to having confidence and being able to, go into this new slice of life with a much more positive and professional approach.
Yeah, the confidence piece seems to come back. It's a theme that
Yeah.
comes back over and over again when I speak to people, having gone through the program. So in the end, what type of role did you get? And I think there was like a big change of industry as well, right? Are you able
Yeah,
to share a bit
yeah.
more on that?
Yeah, through my career, I was very much into gaming. I did fitness, combat sports, and then agency, where I kind of dipped my toes into that, and that's where I got my expertise. And, now I got into like when I said like you get the job that you need, essentially like this opportunity basically blends a lot of my passions where, it leverages my interest in AI and my passion, my knowledge of that, my passion for pets, because COVID is something that helps veterinarians with, it's a SaaS for vets, essentially gives them like a co-pilot in their clinics to help them focus on their consultations and less on the paperwork. And being able to make a concrete change in the world. And this is a space I care deeply about, and I believe that helping vets helps pets, then helps their masters and mental health, and it just has this cascading effect. So not only am I doing something that I love and I'm building a brand and I'm dipping into what I'm comfortable and I know how to do very well, but I'm also making an impact in the world. So that's for me is why this has so much value.
Nice. And I mean, this is a new industry for you, right? You
Yeah.
didn't have
Yeah.
that industry experience, right? So you were able to, like, how were you able to parlay or translate your transferable skills in a way that they could see that you would be able to deliver results?
Yeah, it's just showing that, I understood I had some B2B experience and B2C experience in my career. And it's just being able to see how like leverage how to show how that transitions. At the end of the day, you're selling to people and showing that you're good at doing that, that you're good at maintaining websites, at understanding SEO, at understanding performance. It's the same kind of like systems and metrics that you use depending on industries. It's just you're talking to a different type of audience that has different motivations. It's just getting a handle on that. And this company has like very smart people that are very confident they know what they're doing, so they could immediately see my potential when I talk to them and leverage it in my day-to-day with them now.
Yeah. So, what would you tell someone who was considering potentially investing in getting this type of support for their job search? This is something you decided early on. Yeah. What would you say to
Yeah, I
someone?
mean, it is something I identify early on because I believe that time is the only thing that you have that you can't get back. You can make money, you can make all these other things, but you can't make time. So, in being cautious and investing your time, put your money so that the time that you spend in efforts is something that you're going to be able to leverage the most of it, and the things that you're not going to be efficient with, give to someone else, right? So that's kind of that mentality that made me initially choose to hire someone like you. Of course, in the beginning, when you're like, you're out of a job and you have a limited amount of money and you're looking at like the cost, you kind of like thinking like, oh, it's a risk, but it pays back for itself. It's
Yeah.
it's something, it's a no-brainer investment. And once you get over that and you realize the benefits you're going to get out of it, which are not like always evident when you start in. But just if it was just the profile optimization and the resume, that's already like a huge leap forward because the discovery, self-discovery that you do as you're going through that process. And then when you tack on the consultations and the extra stuff in it to kind of help you nail those interviews, I think that's Also super, super important. People will often go like, oh, I'll just take the basic package to kind of optimize my stuff and then I'll do it on my own. But no, the interview process is super important as well. Because it's not just getting into the door, but you have to nail it when you're in the door. So
Yeah.
that's the part that is like people that, work with you, they should go for the full package because it is absolutely worth it.
Thank you for saying that because a lot of people, when we start talking about the interviews, they're like, oh, I interview really well. But I find that most people have blind spots when it comes to that, right? And
And it's
it
a
makes,
different market today. Like the
yeah,
interviewers today do not look for the same things as before. There are going to be, of course, exceptions where you're going to meet people that are going to just talk to you and it works like it did before. But the industry is harsh right now, so you need to know how to go in and sell yourself. It's a completely different game.
for sure. And in the end, how long did it take for you to get an offer from the time we had your resume and LinkedIn done?
I mean, the resume was done mid-October, and I was basically everything was updated at that time, and I accepted my offer on December 5th or something like that. So like about a month and a half, I'd say.
Wow. Yeah. So
So
that's
yeah,
really
it went
quick.
really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in Q4, right? Which a lot of people
Yeah,
think
and
is dead.
exactly in Q4, and it just as things you think things are slowing down for the holidays, but no.
No, they don't. We had so many clients that got offers, right, at this
Yeah.
time of year.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to add? Anything we haven't covered yet that you think is important for people to understand?
I think the one understated thing from what you offer is the community.
Yeah.
We have these weekly meetings with everybody that all your clients, and it's really good because not only are you're sitting in a call, an open call with your peers, right? They're all people of like midlife experience, and they all are like in very high positions, very professional, very smart people, and
Yeah.
it's really good to be able to kind of openly talk about looking for work and experiences and kind of bouncing some dilemmas or questions you have with and getting all these different perspectives. That's been very, very helpful.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Well, I am really, really excited for you in your new role. I know you've already started. Things are going great. It's exactly what you had been looking for ultimately, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Very excited. And I'm really looking forward to the future. And I'm like going into these holidays, like I'm hopping when I'm walking. It's really, really happy with this. Great experience.
Well, it has been such a pleasure working with you, and thank you so much for sharing your story as well.
Yeah. My pleasure. You're welcome.